vast herds of wild animals would migrate to greener pastures as the seasons changed. Today, sadly, this is no longer the case, and natural areas have been fenced in to protect not only the animals, but also the habitats within them.
And it's these very fences that now make it necessary for people to get involved in migratory processes for these animals by using skilled game capture teams like these guys to move the animals when necessary to wide open spaces and new habitats to ensure continued biodiversity of the region. Join me on the wildlife adventure of a lifetime as we witness real conservation in action.
This is a black rhino, known to be dangerously aggressive and therefore one of the big five. Now, in order to get to this point where you've got an animal that's sedated, it takes a lot of very effective teamwork. You've got to work hard and you've got to work fast and you've got to know exactly what you're doing. And that's why we're working with these guys. They're the best there is.
In this episode of Modern Migrations, the capture team will search the vast landscape of the Hluhluwe-Imfolozi Park in order to isolate and capture 3 special black rhinos. This is a dangerous and highly specialized process. The Hluhluwe-Imfolozi Park is black rhino country. More than 100,000 hectares of lush bushveld savanna situated slightly inland of the east coast of South Africa, in the province of KwaZulu-Natal.
Black rhino is still a critically endangered species. There are about 4,000 left on our planet. And so it's very important that we actually do this to try and save the species from extinction.
The bomas serve as game capture HQ.
Okay, black rhino are caught through chemical immobilization, which entails each individual animal needs to be darted.
Jeff and his team carefully prepare the darts, a combination of sedatives and immobilizing agents. This unique concoction has taken years to develop.
You'd need 2 teams. You'd need the helicopter and the darter forming one team, and then what we call the ground team, which will be the recovery team, which is made up of a recovery vehicle, and then, of course, the transporter that will ultimately transport the rhino.
With all of this in place, we are ready to capture a rhino.
Black rhinoceros belongs to the species Diceros bicornis and is in fact a completely distinct species to the white rhinoceros. And when one observes these animals both physically and behaviorally, one can see just how different they really are. Now, the white rhinoceros has a long neck and a long head and is perfectly adapted for grazing the grasses in the open savanna where it chooses to live, whereas the black rhino has a shorter neck and is perfectly adapted for browsing vegetation such as this. Now, it's difficult to spot a black rhino, firstly because they live in dense thickets, but secondly because they're nocturnal. I've in fact never seen a black rhino in the wild, so I'm really looking forward to this capture.
The ground team is now on standby. In this process, timing is everything.
Well, the section rangers in this area radioed through yesterday and said that they've got the perfect animals for the capture today. What we need to do today is find them. The helicopters that will be flying over this area looking for 2 specific black rhinos. Once the vet has said that he's spotted it and they got the right animals, we'll then set off in hot pursuit. In the meantime, we sit and wait and hope that before too long, that call will come through.
8.5 kilometers to the north, the pilot is flying over the home range of the first rhino. The ground crew is tailing the helicopter, but needs to keep a safe distance until the rhino has been darted. These are tense moments. The pilot closes in on the rhino.
Well, the call has just come through, so we're heading on our way.
The down thrust of the helicopter and a rapidly moving target makes darting the rhino a very specialized task.
But as long as some of us get to the animal as quickly as possible, we can make sure that it's fallen in an okay position.
Falling badly could put the rhino at risk and complicate the load process.
Once the drug starts to take effect, they tend to speed up. The helicopter loses control over their movements, and they will just run blindly until such time as the drug has taken full effect and the animals are then fully immobilized. That can take up to 2 to 3 to 4 minutes, depending on how well the immobilizing agent has been absorbed into the bloodstream.
Despite the potency of the dart, the sheer size and strength of the rhino keep it on its feet for up to 2 minutes, giving the ground crew a run for their money. The vehicle is used to gently support the animal as the drugs begin to take effect. Seconds later, the team manages to restrain the rhino. Preparation for the loading starts immediately. The rhino is rocked into a more comfortable position. A sedative and other necessary medication is prepared to be administered.
Right, so they've just brought this black rhino down to the ground. They've done is they've put earplugs in its ears because they're very, very sensitive hearing. So to help calm it down, they put the earplugs in the ears, so it reduces the amount of stress. Also put the blindfold over its eyes, which keeps it unsighted, so it's not as scared about what's going on around it, because it hasn't gone to sleep, it's just been immobilized. Taking some blood samples. There are a lot of people here that are studying these animals. So they're taking blood samples, they're taking tissue samples, taking measurements. So right now what he's going to be doing is cutting off the very tip of the horn.
This has two benefits. One, so that it doesn't break off its entire horn in the transport crate.
And secondly, when he's relocated, chances are there's going to be a bit of friction between him and some of the males where he's moved to. So by removing the tip of the horn, it also prevents some of the danger of gouging.
This is completely painless for the rhino, as the horn is made up of compressed hair.
If you take a close look here, you can actually see that it's made of compressed hair. It's actually, that's what it is. It's compressed hair, so it didn't feel that at all. Now, one of the identifying characteristics of a black rhino are the lips. You can see this top prehensile top lip. It's almost shaped like that over the bottom one, and they actually use it to grip twigs and leaves as well. Now they're drilling into the horn, which is where they're going to put the transponder. You can smell it, it's like the burning of hair.
This transponder contains a microchip so that the animal can be identified in the future. A specially adapted truck with a heavy-duty lifting crane prepares for the loading. A rope around the head is fed through the front of the crate and tied to the truck. Now this will secure the safe trajectory of the rhino as he is guided into the crate. Final medication is injected and the crate is carefully moved into position.
black rhino, which is another difference with the white rhino, is once they give it the antidote, it wakes up very quickly. So they time it to the absolute last possible minute. Once all the preparation's been done, then they inject it, which they're about to do now, into one of the main veins in the ear. And within literally 2 minutes, this animal's going to be up on its feet, and they'll prod it from behind, and it'll shoot straight into the crate. What they also do is they position the front feet in the perfect position for the first step. So as it's pulled, it goes up onto its legs.
The antidote is in, and in a few moments, this extremely powerful animal will come to.
That's how rapidly that happens. With a white rhino, it would still be groggily getting to its feet. The guys would be on either side of it, gradually steering it towards the crate. This thing, 1 minute and 40 seconds after it's been given the antidote, 2 small electrical prods on its butt, and it's in the crate in literally a second. And you don't want to be anywhere near the front of that.
Weighing in excess of a ton, this grumpy but precious cargo will soon be on its way. As the load nears completion, the aerial crews set off to find the second black rhino.
This capture could not have run any smoother. Once the animal's darted, they say it takes 6 minutes for it to be sedated and fall down. And it was almost second perfect. It's now loaded up. We're all getting into the vehicles and we're heading off for the second capture.
Coming up, the ground crew tackles some rough terrain to get to an adult male about to go down. Thereafter, locating and loading a feisty female. The anti-poaching team that has been looking after these rhino climb on board, and we head off towards the pilot, who is nearing the location of rhino number 2. The helicopter banks to the left as the rhino has been spotted. The big bull is flushed from the thickets to ensure a clear shot. Some extreme off-road driving is required as the ground crew race to keep up. The crew arrive just in time to support the rhino as it goes down. The team first verifies that it is an unchipped animal before proceeding to the planting of the ID chip. The procedure now involves taking measurements and administering antibiotics and sedatives, during which the animal's vital signs are continually monitored. It's a highly organized mission, almost military in its execution. Despite the intense concentration, the team works with compassion and care.
Now, without this heavy-duty equipment, these transfers would be impossible. These crates are custom-made for the purpose of transporting rhino. They're reinforced, obviously they need to be. These are really heavy and strong animals. It's taken years to get to this point, but these guys are specialized in what they do. Makes the job a lot easier.
It's now time for the peaceful state to be reversed. The antidote is injected and the team waits for this large creature to wake up. Thankful for their technology, the team stands back and watches in awe as the conservation efforts of this critically endangered animal move forward to ensure the survival of the black rhino. With a second black rhino loaded and on its way, the aerial crew already send signal for the ground team to approach. The third rhino has been spotted not far away.
Once a suitable animal is located, the helicopter team has to try and keep it in an area where one can gain access to that area. It's difficult in these parks because of the terrain, lots of valleys, dongas, thick bush. That has to be negotiated.
The crew must wait until the pilot flushes the rhino from the dense bushes.
If it's worked to the plan and worked like clockwork, you can generally get the animal down in the area you want to get it down in, and then everything is much easier. If one of those parts doesn't go to plan, then all bets are off after that.
Closing in on the rhino, it requires clever maneuvering to get Jeff close enough to fire the dart. As soon as the rhino is free of the thickets, he must take the shot.
Calls come through. They've probably darted it already, which means we've got about 6 minutes to get to the animal before it goes down. It seems like we're in fairly open terrain, so it's not going to be too hectic getting there. But obviously, the sooner we do, the better.
The ground crew must now proceed with caution. They must get close enough to assist the rhino when it goes down, but stay far enough away for their own safety. Once down, we immediately rush to its aid. Although the rhino went down in tricky terrain, it has fallen in a good position. The team immediately checks for possible existing microchips before measurements are taken and blood samples are collected. Eye drops also get administered to prevent the eyes from drying out. As the transport truck arrives, a decision is made as to where the microchip should go, as well as the size of the tip that needs to be removed. Being nothing more than compressed hair, the drilling inflicts no pain whatsoever, and a unique identification chip is planted into the precious horn. Parasite infections are common to black rhino in this area, and the related wounds are measured for research purposes and treated for infection. With the trucks getting into position, the tips of the horns are removed, ensuring safe travel and offload for the rhino. Luckily, like with fingernails and hair, these horns will grow back in due course.
They've just wet the animal down to regulate its temperature, keep it slightly cool, and they're going to load it in. Now, this particular vehicle is custom made for relocating rhinos that have especially fallen in difficult terrain. But we couldn't have asked for a better area. It's wide open. They're going to load the animal now into the truck. It's just working absolutely seamlessly once more.
Taking last notes of all the measurements, the antidote is administered and the team stands by for when this mighty animal comes to. Electric stimuli administered through the thick hide will help wake her up.
That is how you spot, catch, crate, and relocate a rhino.
Unique design developed by the game capture team eases the loading for both the crew and the rhino. With the pilot leading the way, the trucks are heading for the new park where these special animals will be released. It's a short journey, made as comfortable as possible for an extremely fragile cargo. Being part of a species that is standing on the brink of extinction, this is not just a journey to a new home, but a journey to the survival of the species.